This past month, I listened to a lot of really good albums, and so I wanted to talk about the past month and some of the albums I listened to, give some recommendations, and I hope you enjoy. This past month, I listened to 2 really good jazz albums, classics, and I'm always open to more jazz recommendations. It's something I've been slowly wanting to get into, and that was Kind of Blue by Miles Davis and Something Else by Cannonball Adderley. Fantastic. I really enjoyed them. I liked Kind of Blue a little bit more than Something Else. Kind of Blue is just iconic in the jazz world, so it makes sense. But yeah, they were both fantastic, and I'm open to way more jazz recommendations. So this next section, I want to talk about some niche albums that I listen to, albums that are either fairly recent or just aren't really talked about. There's a chance that you may have heard of these, but for the most part, unless you're like super into or whatever, they might not pop up. But the first one is Souvenir by Alici. The genre is like indie jazz, and it's like it was pretty good. It's a newer-ish album, I think 2021 or 2022. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Definitely worth checking out. And then this one I really liked. It's I Felt Like a Sketch by Key vs. Lockett. My favorite song on the album was Nothing for a Moment. Just fantastic rock sound. It almost felt like an anime opening, that type of like high energy album and tracks. I Felt Like a Sketch, fantastic album, highly worth checking out. This next one is an EP by a band called Rocket. Found them randomly in my YouTube recommendation, and I listened to one of their songs, and then I checked out their only EP that they've released, and that is Versions of You. My favorite song on the EP was Take Your Aim, which is the song that I heard on YouTube, and I also enjoyed On Your Heels, which is the opening track in the EP. Next one is an older album from 2001 or 2002, so even before I was born. This next album is Leaving Through a Window by Something Corporate. Just a really fantastic album, kind of pop punk, that type of vibe, kind of in a Blink-182 type sound. It is just really good, definitely worth checking out if you like Blink-182, a little bit of Weezer-ish. Yeah, kind of more like the vocal sound is a bit more on the Weezer side, while like the guitar, like the sound of like the instruments and all that is a bit more on the Blink-182 side. Some favorite songs are The Astronauts and Globes and Maps. Those 2 are really good, and Punk Rock Princess is also fantastic on that album, which is probably their most famous song on the record, I think. The next one next niche album is Making a Door Less Open by Car Seat Headrest. Just very fun, new album. New. It came out in 2020. But my favorite song on that was Hollywood. And then last of my niche bands, or niche albums, are American Thighs by Veruca Salt. My favorite song was Spider-Man 79. That was just a very fun rock album, very 90s rock, very good. So this next section is me talking about some of the bands that I finished listening to their discography. Some of them are still making music, and so they won't be fully complete in this video. But for right now, I've listened to all of their discography, and a couple of them, it's the only albums that they've released. So I'm kind of finished like going through them. Yeah, there's only one of them that I wasn't a huge fan of, and it might be a little bit controversial, but we'll get there in a little bit. The first one I want to talk about is 21 Pilots. I listened to pretty much all of their albums. Before this month, I had listened to Self-Titled and Blurry Face before, all the way through. But this month, I decided to just like listen to all of it. I wasn't as big of a fan of a lot of their later stuff. My favorite albums by them are their Self-Titled album and Vessel. Next up is the Sex Pistols. I listened to their one album, Nevermind the Bollocks. It was a very fun punk album, very classic, iconic, like probably the most iconic punk album, especially of its time. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. A little tragic knowing the story behind it, but yeah. This one is my controversial, kind of controversial one. I listened to both Joy Division albums, and I wasn't really that big of a fan of either one of them. Preferred Unknown Pleasures over Closer, but I just didn't really get into it. I might need to re-listen to it, but It's just it didn't click with me. But a band that I did really like all of their albums was The Smiths. I listened to all 4 of their albums, enjoyed each one of them. I leaned more towards their self-titled track than the others, but each one of them sounded really good, and I really enjoyed them. Next up is Neutral Milk Hotel. I listened to On Avery Island this month. I'd already listened to In the Airplane Over the Sea, and In the Airplane Over the Sea is way better than On Avery Island, just by a lot. And then the last band that I finished their discography for is Creedence Clearwater Revival. Actually, wait, not the last one, but one of the last ones I did was Creedence Clearwater Revival. I listened to their last 2 albums, Pendulum and Mardi Gras. Creedence Clearwater Revival is, before this month, I would have said they've had no bad albums. Mardi Gras is the closest album that I would say is to a bad album. It's still fine, but it's by far their worst album. It really felt like listening to a B-side on any of their other albums. It just was not that good. Pendulum was great, on the other hand, like especially compared to Mardi Gras. But yeah, just all of their music is fantastic. I could listen to any of their albums all the way through again and again. Yeah, it was really great. The one that I almost skipped over and said this is the real last one is Axis Bold as Love by Jimi Hendrix. I finished listening through all of Jimi Hendrix's, his 3 albums. I'd say right now Electric Ladyland is like the best, then Axis Bold as Love, and then the third is Are You Experienced. That's kind of my ranking for them. So yeah, those are the bands that I finished this month. I went through a lot actually this month, a lot more than my previous months. So I'm excited to keep listening to music and kind of completing more discographies. So this next and final session is the most the notable albums that I listened to this month, the really big ones. I listened to some really good albums this month, starting with The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. My favorite song on the track, maybe a little controversially, is Mama. I really enjoyed Mama. Obviously, Welcome to the Black Parade and Teenagers are just iconic, but I really enjoyed Mama. Next up is Led Zeppelin 4, which this is also kind of controversial, but up until 4, I really hadn't been vibing with Led Zeppelin. I was all right. There were bands that I just preferred, just generally I would go to over Led Zeppelin. But this album really was oh yeah, this is why they're a legendary band. Yeah, it was just great. Stairway to Heaven is just iconic and is probably my favorite song on the track, but I really enjoyed listening to all of it. Next up was Aja by Steely Dan. I really couldn't pick a best song on the record. The whole thing is just fantastic. It's just just brilliant album. Next is Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. I've been slowly going through all of the Bob Dylan albums. I think this was number 12 of going through all of them. But yeah, I've been really on a Bob Dylan kick. I'm literally wearing a shirt. I'm going to a concert soon. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, Blood on the Tracks, iconic album, amazing album. Shelter from the Storm, Hurricane, just some of the best songs in his whole discography. Next up is another iconic album that I didn't vibe with as much. It was Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Favorite track on the album was Wouldn't It Be Nice. I think I might just need to re-listen to it a couple more times. This first listen through, I just wasn't really getting it. I know it's the Beach Boys iconic. Pet Sounds is iconic, but I've only listened to 2 of their albums, and right now I'm just I really haven't been clicking with them. I like some of their singles, but just overall I'm still figuring out how I feel about the Beach Boys. Next up is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. Fantastic album all the way through. It was just brilliant. 5 Years, Suffragette City. Starman is just iconic. I love Starman is a great track, but 5 Years, Suffragette City just really stood out to me more than Starman. And the last album that I have on my list to talk about is Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs by Derek and the Dominoes. Layla is just iconic, and It's Too Late was a fantastic cover of the Buddy Holly song. yeah, this could have gone in the bands where discographies I finished could go, but it kind of could go either way. Just great album, fantastic, like all the way, just amazing guitar by Eric Clapton. Definitely worth listening to. So that was just some of the albums that I listened to this month. Some fantastic stuff. I want to take that kind of energy into July and listen to some more even fantastic albums. Give me some recommendations down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm kind of moving into this more direction. Yeah, I'm kind of doing whatever I want to do. And I've just been enjoying music, and I've like been creating a list of albums that I want to listen to and like that are just iconic. So please give me I'm like as many recommendations as I can get. Honestly, they're totally welcome. But yeah, the music is just awesome. I just love it, and I want to kind of share it with you guys. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.